If you clicked on this video, chances are you want to build a mobile app of your very own that has a professional design and one that can actually make you money on the App Store. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do this in this video using Claude Code directly from your phone. We're going to start with ideation, then we're going to move to prompting the AI to build our app, then we're going to talk about design, we're going to add images, sound effects, and haptics, and then we're going to send the app to the App Store, and we're not going to write a single line of code. Let's not waste any more time. Let's dive into the video. Okay, so today we're talking about how to vibe code a mobile app. We want to take our idea for an app and then get it on the App Store without writing a single line of code, because we are at a massive shift right now. The world is changing and the mobile app market is growing. It's going to reach $1.1 trillion by 2034. $1.1 trillion. And right now we're seeing this massive shift, and it's kind of awkward, right? The shift from going from software engineering, where you have to manually type all the code, to vibe coding. And yes, there's a lot of hype around it. A lot of these tools don't work as advertised. It's quite awkward, and it is a little bit scary, but at the end of the day, it is inevitable. And there's never been a better time to actually learn this stuff. And so today we're going to be building our app from our phone. And so we're going to be using Claude Code within the Vibecode app. You can download an app that literally uses Claude Code to build an app, and you can immediately test it directly on your phone, and you can add images, sounds, and everything directly within this app. And so what I want to start off by talking about is, how do you actually come up with a really good app idea? So this right here is a little worksheet that I like to fill out when I'm trying to come up with an app idea that I can use to make money. And I think the best way to actually fully understand this is to see an example. So I think a really good example of an app that solves a very specific problem in a really, really novel way is Cal AI. And obviously now there's a lot of copycats, and in the Vibecode app, you can actually one prompt Cal AI, like you can create Cal AI in a single prompt, which I've made a video on previously. But what Cal AI does really well is it solves a problem. So let's go through these questions, right? What problem does your app idea solve? And not only do you want to solve a problem, but you want it to solve a problem in a way that's marketable, in a way that's fun. And the problem, like, people want to be healthy, but tracking calories is super annoying. It takes a while. And so that problem is annoying. And so the way they try to solve this problem is you take a photo of your food, and it uses OpenAI's API, which is very easy to do. Like I said, you can do it on Vibecode in one single prompt. And you can take a photo of your food, and it automatically tracks your calories. Taking a photo and using AI to analyze calories is easy to understand, it's cool, and viral for short form content. And does your app have a halo feature? That is the next question. A halo feature is a standout feature in a mobile app that creates a memorable user experience and often becomes the defining reason user chooses that app over competitors. So a halo feature kind of creates a word of mouth buzz. It's the thing that you can say about the app that's very easily spreadable. It's very contagious, right? You take a photo of your food and it counts your calories. That's the halo feature. It's the most important feature of the app. And so take a photo of your food, get the macros. Then once you kind of understand what problem your app idea will solve, you want to make sure that there's a market for it. And so there's a tool out there, and it's called Sensor Tower. And a lot of people who talk about mobile apps on the internet talk about Sensor Tower. When you're in the market analysis section in Sensor Tower, we can go to health and fitness. And so we can actually see which apps are doing the best. And here we can see that Mike is doing very well. We can see Cal AI. We can see all of these different tools. We can see Strava is really doing well. And if we actually click on Cal AI, we can actually see the specific details within the app. We can see that it does 2 million in revenue per month. Yes, they spend a lot on ads and UGC and all these different marketing efforts, but they do have $2 million per month coming in. And so you can understand that this is a type of app that could work. However, you can see that there's a lot of different competitors, right? FitnessPal is a competitor. We can probably scroll down and find more. Chronometer, calorie counter. We have Calo AI food calorie counter. And then if you just go up to the search bar and we just type in calorie, we can see that there are, calorie counter by Fat Secret, which does 500K a month. You can filter it by apps, and we can see that there's just a ton of different apps doing a lot of revenue. So there is a market for this type of app, but there is a lot of competition, and these competitors all are driving down the price. And so what you're looking for is an opportunity to create an app that has a lot of demand, but also there's room for you to do it in a unique way. So what is my app idea? And so before I started filming this video, I came up with an idea that I just really want to solve. And I've been struggling a lot with YouTube thumbnails, right? I struggle coming up with high quality YouTube thumbnails and executing on making them. And so the problem that I want my app to solve is faster YouTube thumbnails of me. And is this problem marketable? I think if there was a mobile app where I could take a photo of myself and then turn that photo into a high quality YouTube thumbnail, I think that would be very marketable, right? And I'm thinking, like, does it have a halo feature? And that halo feature is take photo of yourself, generate high quality thumbnails. And there's many different ways that we could do it. And maybe we can actually begin thinking about that a little bit more. And but is there a market for my app? And so I can look at Sensor Tower, right? Let's go like thumbnail. Let's see. Thumbnail maker over 100K, channel art, thumbnail maker, channel art, see more. It doesn't look like that anyone has kind of dominated this market, but this one does over 100K downloads. It is less than 5K revenue per month, this one right here. And this is only on Google Play, it looks like. That's very interesting. And then another way to kind of do some research is like, what is the average? And we can go to just ChatGPT for this. If you go to ChatGPT, what is the average price people pay for per month for a thumbnail designer that does let's say 12 thumbnails? So how much would that cost per month, and how many people need YouTube thumbnails? So like, I'm a content creator. I make content and I need YouTube thumbnails. I pay much more than 10 to 15 each. And so I think it would be closer to around at least $20. And so if it was 12 times, let's just say 15, 180 per month. And so that is a lot of money to spend. And I think it would be closer if we were making a premium product on our phone. I think people would pay $300 per month to have this. I'm saying that I think people would be willing to pay like $50 a month if it got you pretty close to creating high quality thumbnails, and they could actually prototype these thumbnails and send them to a thumbnail designer, or they could finish the job on Canva. So I think that there is a market for this, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try and solve this problem. So what I want to do is I am going to just say yes. And would your problem require a large change in behavior? This is the final question that I forgot to address with the Cal AI. I think it's very low friction to take a photo of your food, right? That is not a lot to ask for. And so what we want to do is we want to create an experience with our thumbnail designer app. How do we create this in such a way where it requires very little change in behavior from the user, right? The user takes photo of themselves, then describes the thumbnail. That is what we want. And we can actually copy this. And what we can do is we could probably just move to our prompt. And so the way that I like to ideate is I actually created a custom ChatGPT, and it's called Vibecode, a mobile app. And this will be in the description below. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this, and I'm just going to say, I have an idea for an app. And then this app, I'm just going to paste in kind of some of the info that we had here, which was, this is a worksheet I filled out about my app. And all this does is this asks me follow-up questions. And so it's like, do we want the app to generate thumbnails automatically? I'm just going to say, I want this to be a prototype. Don't add the AI features yet. Simply prototype how the app should look. It should all be, let's say 16:9, because that's the aspect ratio of YouTube thumbnails. I want there to be a reference image. So I want to be able to take a photo of myself, and then it will generate an image that's always 16:9. We can set that up in the AI later. So the flow is take a photo of myself. Then after I do step 1, then it creates a prompt for me to fill in, right? This prompt will be to describe the thumbnail, and then it will create the thumbnail, and it will be 16:9. Create a prototype for how this would look. You don't need to add the AI features quite yet. And so all this custom GPT is going to do is it's just going to create my first prompt for the Vibecode app, which is basically Claude code that knows that it's creating a mobile app for us to test and iterate on to build it. Look at this. So here is your perfect prompt. Here's a prototype called Thumbsprint. There we go. We can just copy this entire prompt here. If you wanted to use the web app for Vibecode, all you have to do is just paste it right here, and it makes it super easy to just paste it. But I want to use the new mobile app for Vibecode. It just came out. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paste this directly into the Vibecode app right here. And now we are going to press generate. And now Claude code within the Vibecode app is now beginning to do work, and it is now building the app right here. And it is building a prototype. And this was actually one of the longer prompts I've done for this, but we'll see how it turns out. So our app is done, and it is called Thumbsprint. Let's just take a look at what this looks like for now. So I don't like the yellow. I think it's pretty ugly. I'm going to hit new thumbnail. Okay, I can take a photo. Okay, so that's quite interesting. Use photo. Okay, so now it asks me to, okay, so it asks for all of these different things. Then I can hit, I just want to test and see what this looks like. Okay, and then so this is what it would look like. Okay, so I want to change some things about this. I am just going to pinch, right? In order to edit our app, all we do is we pinch in from our sides of the phone, and now we can edit the app. Now I can type in, please simplify this, have no button, like have no toggles, just text prompt for the YouTube thumbnail generation. And then now what we can do is we can actually add images. So here I'm going to open up the image tab, and I'm just going to generate a, let's say 3D render of a cartoon icon of a blue YouTube play button. So now we can generate an image. Let's generate another one, and we're going to use these in our app. 3D render cartoon icon of a paintbrush that is blue. We're going to go with a blue theme here. And so we're generating a bunch of different assets that we're going to put into our app. 3D render of a cartoon icon of a character icon. I don't like that generate button. Cartoon 3D render of a blue generate button, up arrow, circular. Okay, so there's the profile icon. Okay, great. So I'm just going to select this play button here, and we're going to add it to the prompt. This image, please use this instead of the icon above thumbnail sprint on the main homepage. And then please make the background white, and then make the icons and buttons blue. Get rid of all yellow. I don't like that. It's pretty ugly. And so there's the prompt that we're entering. Now we're making a big edit to our app to radically simplify it. Okay, so this is a really good example of something we can show. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a photo of myself here. screenshot it. Now I'm going to save to photos. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take a photo on the camera, and I'm going to screenshot this. And now what we're going to do is we're going to pinch images. We're going to hit this top left square right here. We're going to upload this image, and we're going to upload this image. We're going to select this one. I'm going to add these images to the prompt. Okay, when I take the photo of myself, as you can see in the two images that I'm giving you right now, there's a little blue area that is ideally what is like where I put my face. That face should be the character. We're going to use that as a character reference, but like when I take the photo, it just takes the top part of the image, not what's in that middle area. Please make that look better. All right, so it's almost done. Downloading, bundling, and boom. Let's take a look. Let's see if this works better. There we go. We can use this photo as a character reference. Man in studio. Okay, create thumbnail. And then this is where the thumbnail would pop up, but there would be a loading screen. Okay, time to add AI features. What we want to do is we want to go to the API tab, and we want to be able, and what we want to do is we actually want to use image generation. We want to use ideogram. So ideogram has a really good API that has a good character reference. And so I want to be able to use the ideogram character reference to generate an image, and this image should always be 16 by 9. Look deeply into this ideogram character reference and make the image that it gets generated, use the ideogram API and make it of that character. So I can just take a photo of myself like I am doing right now, and that character will be present in the image, always 16 by 9, and I will describe the image. Please make this happen. Okay, so it's loading, right? And while it's loading, we can actually generate some audio and haptics. So I'm going to change this to sound effect, and we can actually generate sound effects. So for the first sound effect, what I want to do is I want to have one that is, let's go ahead and do a very light ding button noise. A soft enter button. Let's generate another one. A success noise, light for user interface on a mobile app. I'm not a huge fan of those yet. A very pleasing little noise for a success in a game. Lovely chime video game noise. Beautiful, elegant success noise in user interface. Ooh, I like this one. So I'm going to add this to prompt. I'm going to say, use this noise when I press generate. And I'm just going to get this prompt queued up. I'm just going to leave this right here. Let's go ahead and test our app. Let's see if this app actually works. So we just tried to create this, and I don't know if the app refreshed. I'm just going to make sure it refreshed. I'm going to hit refresh. And now boom. Okay. New thumbnail. Use photo. Man in studio. Okay, generating thumbnail. Okay, we did indeed get this error. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say, use this noise when I press take photo. Also, the image generation did not work. Okay, so it's done. Let's go ahead and give this a try. New thumbnail, take photo. Let's actually take the hat off for this. All right, see, it used the sound effect there. That's not the best photo. Let's take a new one. All right, let's use this character, which is me. Cinematic image of a man. Create thumbnail. Let's see if this works. And boom. There it is. There I am in an image right there with a character reference. And now for the kicker, AI. Here's the kicker. All right, so we're going to click on API, image generation. We're going to use Nano Banana, add it to the prompt. Okay, this is working great. Now what I want to have happen is I want to create a version system, and I want to create an image editing model with Nano Banana. So if you look at the preview right now, there's an image showing at the top. That is the current image. Right? We can think of that as the current image. Below that, I want there to be versions. So I want this to, after it generates, that's version 1. Then I want to be able to edit version 1 using Nano Banana. Look up the documentation for Nano Banana. Do that effectively. And I want to be able to describe the change. And then I want version 1 through 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way across, unlimited basically, as I edit more, to go horizontally below the image, and I want that to be side scrollable. Version 1, version 2, version 3, version 4, etc., etc., etc. And whatever one I click on should show up in the preview. And then it should edit that one using Nano Banana, and then that should show up as the latest version. And I want to be able to edit the images with text. Please make this work. Okay, so it's done. Let's go ahead and see what it did here, right? You can click on the tasks. It said to create Nano Banana API service, add version state management, create horizontal scrollable list UI, add edit prompt. Okay, amazing. Now let's go ahead and let's try this again. Cinematic image of a man on a couch. Generating version 1. Notice how that's a little bit different. Let's see. Okay, there I am sitting on a couch in a turtleneck. Now we can edit this version. Make the man's shirt red. You can't see it's being covered. That's okay. Create new version. So it's creating version 2. Let's see if this works. And by the way, what we can do, for those of you who understand code, you can go to the logs, right? You can go to the logs here. We can actually see what's happening. So image edited successfully. Okay, so let's go and see. There you go. It was successful, right? You can see that in the logs here, which is very cool. And you can see exactly what's happening behind the scenes if that is something that interests you. Now we can say, add white text at bottom, and I'll fix this, how this is covering the like I want to be able to see the input field. So I'll fix that in a sec. At the bottom, make it say, oh yeah, create new version. So it's creating version 3. And again, I like to just see the logs to see if it's working. And we should get an image success once it's done. Oh yeah. So it added this white text at the bottom that says, oh yeah. Okay. When I'm editing these, I actually want to be able to see the input area. And there's 2 buttons beneath the image, save to gallery, and then the other button below it. I want that instead to be accessible in like a modal that can be tapped. So where it shows the text that says version 1, 2, or 3, etc. at the very top, in line with the back arrow, I want there to be the 3 dots button that opens a modal that allows me to then hit those save buttons within that and not have them on the main screen. They're big and ugly. Things are going well. We've integrated 2 APIs, the ideogram character API and the Nano Banana API. And now we just need to kind of create like an export. And then we will have a very good MVP, and we'll be able to send this to test flight so that we can allow others to test the app. Okay, let's go ahead and give this a try. New thumbnail. Use man cinematic image of a man wearing a hoodie. Okay, so it's generating version 1. What did we change about this one? We changed what it looks like after this loads. So after this loads, those buttons should no longer be in the way, and we should be able to see the text input field here. Okay, so now I'm wearing a hoodie. This is pretty fire. Please, or no, I don't need to say please, make him wearing a backwards black hat. Create new version. There it is. Okay. Make the background red velvet carpet and tan walls. Create new version. See, this allows us to take a photo of ourselves, immediately create a thumbnail. We can describe the thumbnail. And boom, there we go. And we can edit it perfectly. Add big white text at bottom of screen. Welcome to the jungle. Boom. There we go. So version 3, 2, and 1. Look at that. And here we can see the prompts here. Wow, this app is coming out really good. And then here we can hit save. Oh, save to gallery. Okay, saved 4 versions. Did that save all 4 versions? It didn't. It just saved the most recent one. So let's add that button. Please add a save all versions to gallery in the pop-up menu. Like I have 4 versions. I want to be able to save all of them to gallery, please. Boom. And then you know what? We could also use our own API keys here if we wanted to add something else. I'm trying to think. Let's do one final test. Photo of myself. Use photo. Actually, one other thing that I want to do. Describe thumbnail. I would like on the describe your thumbnail section to have 4 placeholders that should be in a 2x2 grid beneath the thing that automatically pastes that placeholder into the describe your thumbnail input area. And that is cinematic image of a man. The next one is cinematic image of a woman. The next one is cinematic image of a man in a YouTube studio. And the final one is YouTube thumbnail image of a person looking frightened. Okay, let's give this a test here. I am going to take one of these. Use photo. See, now we have these quick examples. Let's do this last one, and boom, that's great. We now have those placeholders. Generating version 1. Okay, now we can say, make the background gray and make his shirt red. Create new version. Okay, make him wearing a red beanie. There it is. Add white text that says beanie. Beanies ranked. I'm ranking beanies, I guess. create new version, and then we'll try to export it. And I think this is a great MVP for our app. Beanies ranked. There we go. Now if we press these 3 dots, save all 4 versions to gallery, success. Let's go to our photos, and boom, we have them in order. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We have a thumbnail generator using the character API from Ideogram and the Nano Banana. So if we pinch and we now go to share and we click publish, we can now send it to a friend. Okay, now I just shared it in Slack here. Let's publish it to the App Store. We're going to get started. I have done all 3 of these things right here. We're going to hit next. So I'm going to call this Riley Nail. And boom, next. We're going to generate an app icon here. We're going to just do YouTube thumbnail. This can always be changed later. That's all good. YouTube thumbnail, generate. This will automatically choose like a really high quality style icon, or at least it won't be terrible. You can always change it later. And I recommend putting some decent time into the app icon, as well as the App Store screenshots, which I'll talk about in a future video. There you go. Use as app icon. Boom. Next. This bundle identifier thing, that just leave it whatever the default is. Now we need our Expo access token. If you click on this, it'll actually just take you to Expo. Just signed up to a new account, actually, just to go through the process. And you can hit new token, and I just hit new token and generate one. And now what we need to do is we can just copy this token, right? We can just copy this token right here. We're going to go back and we're going to paste this access token right here, and we're going to hit start build. And now it says your app is on the way to the App Store waiting for build logs. And so the app is now being sent to the App Store, and I can actually get a test flight link, send it to other people so other people can use the app. And then you can actually submit this build, which I'll talk about in future videos, directly to the App Store. And that's when it gets either approved or denied by Apple. After you reach this point, you need to do App Store screenshots and a description, as well as a terms of service and a privacy policy. Those are really easy to set up, and I'll put in the details below. There's a link to get that all set up. It does take like 15 to 30 minutes. And in the future video, I'm actually going to set up payments in the app. And so here it actually said, please enter this. So I'm going to hit allow. And on my computer, it's giving us this 6-digit code. So 006719. Submit the code, and boom, your app is on the way to the App Store. And so I need to select my developer team, continue with team, and boom, we are done.